Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Welcome back. Thanks so much for stopping in. I'm going to talk some Garbaugust today. Yeah, I'm going to talk about my TBR, my reading plans, my excessive reading plans, let me say, for the month of August. I put out my announcement video. It's been a little while back now, so let's refresh that memory of Garbaugust. We're going to read trashy books the entire month of August. This was all, really the brainchild of Ollie over at Criminale. And he's rassled up some of us other folks to co-host this event. And I hope that you'll join us and maybe break out of that comfort zone and read some good trashy books. It's fun. It's all in good fun. But I've picked out a lot of books. They're sitting over here. I don't know how I'm going to get to all of them, but I like to, we're going to try. I'm not going to start off on a negative. So once again, though, I will link, or I will, put the information for all of our hosts below. Great group of folks. Booktubers from, all four corners of the booktube world that are diving into reading some trashy books, and it's going to be so fun. So here are some things that I'm thinking about reading. I've narrowed it down as much as I can. Basically, I can't go any further, and we'll just kind of see what I get to. But let's dive in. So over the course of the entire month, I'm going to dip into this book, Angora Fever, the collected short stories of Edward D. Wood Jr. There's like 60 stories in here. I'm probably not going to get through this the entire month, but I'd like to get a good chunk of it in August and get through these, what I'm sure are going to be highly entertaining stories. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. So I'm going to read that throughout the entire month, so it won't necessarily tie into any of our themed weeks that we've got going on. But let's dive into week number 1. And week 1 is sex and violence, basically. A book, that goes out of its way to, be overly sexual or overly violent or both. And I got a little stack for that week. We'll see what I get to. But first is A Woman of the Future by David Ireland. It's a little bit long, so I don't know that I'm going to get to this one. But we follow a woman named Alethea, a woman born beautiful in a future time, who lives in a bizarre Australia of proles and rulers, of grotesque bodies and childhood sex, of savage games and empty lives. In this haunted landscape of the soul, Alethea is obsoletely human. She loves, she desires, she dreams, and as she changes from child to woman, she begins an intellectual and erotic journey through an unforgettable country, at once alien and terrifyingly familiar. I'm pretty sure this was pretty controversial when it came out. Oops, my bucks are falling. The cover's bizarre. I'm not sure why there's like a cat in the background, like behind the woman. I don't know what's going on here. It sounds like it's probably going to be overly sexual, though. And I want to read it. And this one, yeah, I'm going to read this one too, I think. The Initiation of PB 500 by Kyle Stone. Now, this is a gay erotica story from the 90s, set in space. Yeah, so I just want to read it. So we've got a deep space catastrophe plants a stranger in a strange land, where he finds himself stripped of all rank and used as a workhorse and plaything by his brutal captors. Soon Micah, known only by his number, will be trained as a personal body servant. once nurtured and transformed into the perfect physical specimen, he must begin proving himself worthy of the master who has chosen him. So there'll be some sort of sub-dom thing going on here. Again, I believe it is male, and just kind of a more old school kind of, gay erotica, which I don't know. I'm looking forward to checking out. And I just love looking at the back of this book because there's great like ads for other books. So Bad Boy Fantasy, Slaves to an Emperor, Slaves of the Empire, The Golden Years, and you had a list, and Mike and Me. You basically had a list, and I'm sure there was just like an order form, that you had to order because they weren't selling this stuff in the bookstores. They weren't selling, gay erotica at the Barnes and Nobles back in the day. At least I don't think they were anyway. So this is Bad Boy Press. It's amazing. So, yeah. I think it's going to be sex and violence because, like I said, I think it's a bit of a domination type of story where this guy probably has to do things against his will, I'm assuming. A recent pickup that I just had to add to the list was Brother Death by Steve Perry. It's called Brother Death. I'm kind of assuming it's going to be violent. Of course, I don't know until I get in there, but this guy, I mean, he's tricked out with something here. You know what I mean? So we'll see, but the elite who command the wealth of an entire planet, each is given a warning of impending assassination. Each is surrounded by bodyguards, but in every case, the death stroke falls on time. The veterans of 1,000 off-world battles, he is the matador. She's the quick-draw chief of the local cools. They alone can stop the march of Brother Death. Against them all stand the few, the fanatical secret brotherhood, armed with secrets of lost civilization. They revel in their own powers of destruction, and they obey one voice, Brother Death. It seems violent. We'll see, though. Sometimes you just don't know until you get into it, but this one definitely, I think, is going to have some violence in it. The Azrael Uprising by Alan Thompson. The chilling novel of America under Russian domination. So, a decade after the Russians invaded, it was time for America to fight back, devastated by a surprise attack that left its cities in radioactive ruins. Of course, America suffered under the iron heel of the Russian occupying forces. Millions of the young and able were mercilessly slaughtered, and millions more were imprisoned in forced labor camps. The survivors, women and children, the old and infirm, fled to the hills to lick their wounds and keep the struggle alive. But now, 10 years later, the days of hiding are over. From the hills of New England to the Florida Gulf Coast, the forces of resistance are regrouping into a ragtag militia, armed with whatever they can make, salvage, or steal. Led by the legendary rebel general known as Juanita, the people of America are rising again to take back their homeland. I love everything about that synopsis, and it sounds amazing. It's going to be violent, and there's multiple guns on the cover. It looks like there's going to be some like older folks fighting. I mean, that's always fun. I'm also going for The Swarm by Arthur Herzog. It's a killer animal book. I'm getting killer bees. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty violent. Basically, let me look it up here. In a mountain cabin, a bee swarm flying down the chimney and out an open window without making a sound. A racehorse is stung to death. People are getting stung left and right all over the country. Utah, Wisconsin. The terror begins to spread. So, yeah. That sounds fun. The Swarm. Oh, look at that. That's fancy. Alright, so that's week 1. That's a lot of books for 1 week. Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to stress it now. So week 2 is, if I get these in the right order, I think so, is vintage. I'll put the order down in below if I got the weeks mixed up because I forgot to bring in my little piece of paper. But anyway, I think it's a vintage, so books that were released before 1980. So some real good vintage trash, and I've got a few picked out for that too. So, so this one is from 1970. This is the ESP Worm by Piers Anthony and Robert E. Margroff. First of all, amazing cover. An amazing cover of this like giant worm. I don't know. I'm excited. So, Earth's first alien visitor looks like a 12-foot long cabbage worm, acts like a spoiled brat, and delights in taking over human minds for fun. Cumax's daddy, the terrifying swarm tyrant, wants him back and will snuff out the sun if the terrible tot isn't returned. The catch is that he doesn't want to go home. So unfortunately, Earth has a minister of intergalactic world affairs, because of course I do, to handle the case. Unfortunately, the minister is the president's deadbeat cousin, hapless Harold Prodkins. Who's Harold? I don't know. I don't know if this is like a series of books. I have no idea. But it sounds like a lot of fun, and it's short. I also have this one. So let's look at the year for this one. From 1956. This is called Nerves by Lester Del Rey. Okay, hold on. Blah! It's amazing. An incredible day in the life of an atomic power plant gone wild. They were risking the biggest catastrophe of all time, and time was running out. So there's a plant manager, a company doctor, some kind of wonder kid, a madman. Are they all at the power plant? We'll see. Obviously, something goes wrong. It sounds fun. It sounds so nice and short. So I thought a nice gothic romance would be fun to read for Garbaugust. Also, this was first printed in 1969. This is by Dorothy Daniels. It is called The Tormented. Love these old gothic covers. Oh, yeah, so good. A ghost called me back to the Pillars. I returned, but not as mistress to the Pillars, the Louisiana estate my family had owned. It had been sold to pay my father's debts, and the new owners had hired me as a governess. A governess story, gotta love it. But the Beaumonts, awesome name, wanted more from me than tutoring and childcare. They wanted me to banish the ghost that haunted the mansion, flung objects, and shrilly screamed a name. My name. They wanted me to rid the Pillars of the specter they said was the ghost of my mother. It's also nice and short. Sounds wonderful. This one, okay, Candy by Maxwell Kenton. This was first published in 1965. Supposedly it's the world's most talked about book. I mean, so that right there makes it a contender for Garbaugust. Basically, I think it's about a sort of young teen who, I don't even know how to talk about this book. Because it sounds crazy town, but so the back is just basically an excerpt from the book. I've read it before in a haul, but it says, "Good grief, Daddy, all I was trying to do was find someone who truly needed me. Who wanted my understanding and comfort to, well, share the beautiful and thrilling privilege of giving fully. Silly old Daddy, how could you comprehend? But oh, Daddy, when Uncle Jack looked at me that way, and when he beseeched to me to give all of my true warmth on the hospital floor, his need was so great and aching, of course, I gave to him just the way Professor Mephisto, that truly great man, taught me to. I don't know what's going on in this book. It sounds completely trashy, though, so I'm down for it. I also have this one from 1978. It's a Mills and Boone, just an old school old school romance book. This is called Beware of the Stranger. Basically sort of a tale of a rich family. She's like the daughter of a rich, kind of tycoon type man, and she doesn't ever know if like men are courting her just to like get in with the family and the money, or if they like her for who she is, that kind of thing. So it's kind of one of those stories. So, and so we'll see. So there's week 2. So week 3 is, I have way too many books picked up because this is the anything goes week. Basically just kind of whatever you like to read. Maybe that doesn't quite fit into the other categories, or it's just again, anything goes. Just pick something fun to read. And because also book trek is going on, I'd like to read a Star Trek book, but we'll see what I actually have time to read. So this is Star Trek Voyagers Violations. This is number 4 in that series. Recently bought this when I was out on vacation, so it's a new addition to the TBR that was already out of control. So this is, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a book written in the world of Star Trek Voyager, right? So I liked Star Trek Voyager. I love Captain Janeway. So yeah, sorry, I got a sticker stick it to me. All right, so there's that one. Also, you can't do Garbaugust without a V.C. Andrews book. This is book 2 of the Castile series, which is we are reading as part of the kind of V.C. Andrews read along that Kelly Hooked on Books is hosting. So this kind of fits right into Garbaugust and that. So book 2. I think this is book 2. I picked up the right one, but I'm pretty sure. So we're just gonna, I guess, keep following Heaven as her story progresses. So yeah, I'll probably, most V.C. Andrews, I listen to the audiobook, so that'll help me get through that book. Yeah, I don't know, I hesitate to call it Nancy Drew garbage, but these are the Nancy Drew files, which I feel are more soap opera-y, even though I've not read any of them, so I can't really tell you. But they just feel more soap opera-y. So this is number 1. If I have time, I'll give it a go, of course. I think Nancy is like out of high school in this series and has a job at as a journalist. I think, I don't know. A car explodes. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like a lot of drama going on in here, so why not? And I hesitate going Doctor Who trash also because I love Doctor Who, but I feel like most TV kind of tie-ins are kind of right. So let's see. This is and Doctor Who and an Unearthly Child. The first publication of the first Doctor Who story. It is nice and short. First, it's under 128 pages, so I could definitely probably get to that one for sure. I don't know. We'll see. I've not read any Doctor Who books, old or new. This is one that Ollie sent to me. It's a nice, just trashy romance book. This is Janet Joyce's Controlling Interest. It's just a romance. I don't know. Ollie sent it to me, so I'm going to read it. Also, a Saved by the Bell book. Because Saved by the Bell book, I don't know. It's Garbaugust. When else am I going to read a Saved by the Bell book? So I think I'm going to go for Kelly's Hero. I have a few Saved by the Bell books. I think I'm going to just go for one, though. I'm going to go for Kelly's Hero. Are these numbered at all? Let me think. No. These are written by Beth Cruz. So let's see. She's working. Bum, bum, bum. Her social life is totally wiped out, but her boss is an absolute creep. Zach thinks she's being an oversensitive female. What harm is there in a guy being nice? But when it comes clear that her boss really does expect a little something extra, Kelly's in need of a hero. Will Zach come to her rescue, or has he decided to stick with the boys? This sounds disgusting. Yeah, I gotta read it now. First time I actually read the back of that book. Okay. And because nothing says trash like NASCAR, look, I'm from North Carolina, I can say that. I more recently discovered that there are NASCAR romances, and there's more than one. This isn't the only one that was ever written. This is called Teaming Up by Abby Gaines. It just has to be. It just has to happen. It has to happen. Yeah. And because it's short and sweet, how about a Full House book? A Full House. Way to go, Chipmunk Cheeks. This sounds awful too. So, what are the 3 Tanner girls up to now? DJ has 3 weeks to become skinny as a model. How else can she show up in a swimsuit at Kimmy's birthday pool party? Stephanie gets stuck taking Joey to a mother-daughter slumber party. His wobbling around on high heels not only makes her lose a race, but it embarrasses her right out the door. And adorable Michelle has taken on a new personality, but how long will it last? It sounds so silly. But I watched Full House for sure. Okay, the final week. Week 4 is WTF. A book so trashy, that it just totally will blow your mind and change everything that you thought you know about the world. I've got 4 books. This is a new addition to the TBR is Silverglass by J.F. Rifkin. It features a swordswoman for hire. I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be pretty mind-blowing. I have The Worm Tunnel by Michael Dahl. It's called The Worm Tunnel. There are eggs on the front. I don't know. It sounds amazing. I think this is possibly even a middle grade, possibly YA story. I don't know. It's a teen mystery. So this is a teen book. So 13-year-old Finnegan's Wake. What kind of name is that? His uncle Stoppard. What the hell kind of names are these? Is a best-selling mystery writer, and their friend Jared, a normal name, are off to an archaeological dig in sunny Aguilar, land of giant cacti, jungles, and dinosaurs. Dead ones, that is. While Finn and his uncle are digging up treasure left behind by Finn's archaeologist parents, now mysteriously missing. The crew is digging up very valuable dinosaur eggs, but digging too deeply can stir up trouble, not to mention a murder or 2 or 3. Because I have to read The Unborn by David Shobin. It's a woman who signs up for a research, kind of thing, and it has to do with sleep, so a sleep study kind of, but she doesn't divulge that she's pregnant, and because she really needs the money, but she probably should have, because it could lead to Samantha's horrifying demise. The story of a pregnant woman. This is a story of a sleep research scientist who falls in love with her. And this is the story of the most sophisticated computer in the country. The Unborn is a tale that gets to the very root of our fears about computer intelligence, and the technological manipulation of mankind. Yeah, it sounds amazing. Last but not least, I have The Serene by John Coyne. First of all, the cover. It sounds great. These are short, so let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay, we're in Washington, D.C. Yada, yada, yada. Get to the good stuff. Okay, we have Dr. Sarah Marks. She's left Harvard and come to this new area hoping to find peace and happiness in her new community, but instead she finds Cindy Delp. Cindy, whose parents are the village caretakers, is a strange child, diagnosed as autistic. Oh, eye roll. Unable to communicate with anyone or anything outside herself. Wild, ragged, and speaking in an unintelligible, hellish screech, Cindy roams the new community, disturbing the villagers who resent her intrusions. Sarah is drawn to the girl, who gradually replaces the child Sarah lost to a miscarriage. Then the villagers' dislike for Sandy suddenly turns to fright when they discover that her very presence causes disaster and death. Sarah's friends fear for her children, who are not safe even in their cribs. Soon, not only the children are attacked, but the women's bodies are also invaded in terrifying assaults, half pleasure, half pain, and they are helpless. Multiple horrors continue until only Sarah believes Cindy is innocent, and then the child comes to her, seeks Sarah out in the quiet village. Only then does Sarah learn the truth about Cindy Delp, the secret locked in the child's brain. I think this is going to be bad. Whatever. I think it's like overly sexual. I think there's something like orgasms or like powerful. I don't even know what the hell's going on in this book, but I'm going to read it. I'm sure the autistic representation is going to be cringeworthy, but I'm going to take one for the. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do it. So I got this lovely hardcover for this one. So that's it. That's week 4. And that's Garbaugust. These are my plans. As always, subject to change as new trash finds its way into my life. But I'm pretty excited about all of these. I think it's going to be really fun. So definitely join us. Come and join us for August. If you need recommendations, let me know. I can try to help you out. This was long, so thanks if you made it this far. Thanks for hanging around for this long. I didn't mean to ramble that long. But anyway, so that's going to do it for me, friends. Stay trashy, right? Am I right? So, Garbaugust is almost here. Let me know if you're going to participate. I hope that you do. Let me know what you're going to read. It's going to be fun. And that's going to do it for me, friends. I appreciate your time. And until next time, bye, friends.